Hello, everybody. This is Nick Totero, Professor of Information Technologies and Computer Science, Lakeland Community College. In this video, we're going to investigate some social engineering attacks. We're going to be investigating the development of payloads and spear phishing. But before we go deep into this video, let me make a caveat here. The tools that I'm going to use are well-known, established tools. They're often used in demonstrations. You see a lot of times on YouTube, people will demonstrate them. And that should open up your thought process. If they're well-known and there's a lot of demonstrations out there, they normally fall into the realm of script kiddie devices. Devices that the average person or somebody who is just beginning to get into penetration studies can readily use and practice with. But in a real pen testing or a real black hat event, these type of tools get picked up very, very quickly by the different malware scanners, the different email engines, and things like that. As a practice tool, as a demonstration, let's understand tool, they're fantastic. As a practical, this is what the bad actors in the world use, no, it's just really not practical. I want to bring that to people's attention. Could they be annoying to the average defensive actor? Absolutely. Of course they can be annoying, but they're easily thwarted. So I really wanted to start with that. So we're going to run through a couple demonstrations, more of a what is going on, and then we can extrapolate what is the really bad actors of the world doing. Right? So let me switch up to my screen. All right, I've already launched my Kali Linux. And inside Kali Linux, I am already elevated my privileges to root. A lot of these tools do require that you are root. And if I was just to do change my focus, it does tell me that I am the root. And that's fine. Again, a lot of these tools do require root elevation. Not a big deal. The tool we're going to look at is called Set Toolkit. And that just stands for Social Engineering Toolkit. And it is text-driven, menu-driven. It's not bad. But again, the techniques used in this, the things that would be developed from this, could easily be thwarted. So as a demonstration platform, fantastic. As let's get to understand this stuff, fantastic. As practicing in your own environment, fantastic. But to me, personally, as a place of exploit, and no, these things tend to get thwarted very, very quickly. Let's start with, and let's just work upon the social engineering attack. A little menu driven here, and take a little second here. Give it a second. Fire up. You can see we have spear phishing, we have website attack vectors. With the website attack vectors, we can actually copy a website from a real website, and then we can put it someplace and redirect DNS. Infectious media generator, create a payload and a listener. Let's start simple. Let's start with number 4, create a payload and listener. We will talk about mass mailing, and we'll talk about phishing in a bit. But let's take a look at creating a payload and a listener. That's 4. Now, what a payload is it's malware in which we take a malicious program, typically a port listener or some kind of remote shell, command shell, some way that the bad actor can get into a system. All right, so we take this program, you might see it like a VNC, a virtual network connection, or even a reverse shell in Linux. Here we have some reverse shells for Windows and some other things. And we take that and we wrap it around another program. So we embed it within another program. So for this one, I'm going to do number 1, the Windows shell reverse TCP. Here I give it the physical address of who is listening. Now, in this particular situation, who is listening would be locally residing on the given network. This type of attack, again, it's fairly simple to discover, so it's probably not going to go through firewalls and intrusion detection systems. So here it could be annoying. It could be an annoying situation where somebody on your web, actually somebody, an employee on your network, can create this and listen to communications. Easily discovered. We're more concerned with the overall concept here. So I'm going to put the IP address of this given machine. All right. So it's hard coding that address. That's where I'm saying it's easily thwarted. It's going to hard code that address. Enter the port for the reverse listening. This could be any port. We want to try to avoid the well-known ports. We could potentially listen to port 443, the secure HTTPS port, or port 80. But again, that starts getting into port redirection and other things. So I'm just going to pick a port at random. I'm going to say 8, 8, 8, 8. All right. Now, immediately you should start thinking about how can this be detected? Right. First of all, this is going to be very simple. I'm not going to actually do the connection point because the machines are set up there. They're going to say, wait a second, this appears to be malware. I'm not allowing you to do that. Again, easily thwarted here. But if we use our ethical hacking minds. If I do some kind of routine scanning of the network, if I use the routine scanning tools and the network to look for potential problems, if I was to see a computer running port 8888, as the pen tester or as the network administrator, I say there is something wrong there. So right now what it did was it basically, while I was talking, it generated a payload. All right, the payroll has been exported and it's been sent to this particular directory right here, right? The root set directory, and they called it payload.exe. Obviously, the bad actor would rename the payload to something more less obvious, something more cryptic, less obvious, but we're just showing it. Here, do I want to start the payload listener, right? So at this point, I would turn this on, potentially turn this on here. I'm not going to do that. All I'm trying to do is show in this video, showing the wrapping of a given payload. I guarantee you, and you're going to see me do something in a couple minutes, I guarantee you this payload.exe would get discovered immediately. The antivirus software, malware trackers, things like that would discover this very, very quickly. So this part of the video was more of a demonstration of how this stuff gets wrapped. Then now you're asking is, how does this stuff work in the wild? How are these professional hackers doing this? Well, it's at a much higher level because now they might be getting into stenography where they're hiding the stuff within a file that becomes very, very difficult for the malware trackers to discover them, all right? So the level of complexity has to be elevated so they're not discovered by the malware trackers. This, again, it's going to be discovered right away. And you'll see me demonstrate that. You'll see me demonstrate that. But I just want to show you how this is wrapped. This is pretty crude. I haven't wrote code for many years in this regard, but I suspect how this does is you have the main code and then you have the second code right behind it. There is better and more sophisticated methods where they're blended and it becomes very difficult to find those codes. So I'm going to say no here. And we're going to hit return. Alrighty.